Good evening. This is the Hawk again. So today, Iran put $8 million on Trump's head. The Iraqi government had an emergency meeting and decided to vote to restrict the U.S. military operations in Iraq, restrict uh, the air in Iraq, and remove the troops from Iraq. Give Iraq 6 months and ISIS will control the government. Absent from those that vote were the Sunnis and the Kurds who disagreed. They're well aware that the Shia can't control anything. From experience, the Iraqi military cannot fight. ISIS walked into their special forces camps with a few people, rounded them all up, put them in a trench, and shot a lot of them. We saw them in combat. They hide behind walls and shoot up in the air. They don't fight. Most of them drop their weapons, leave their clothes there, military clothes, and run. They change into civilian clothes and run. They're only there for a paycheck. As for the Iraqi government, every one of them that voted are extremely upset because the man that was paying their paycheck or their bribery money was killed by the US government right outside their government, right outside their parliament, which has upset many of them because now they don't have money in their pockets. Now, ISIS hasn't been completely wiped out. What will continue to happen right now is that ISIS will reemerge if the US move out, and they will not last more than 6 months. Most of the politicians that voted for the US to leave will abandon the country and go overseas, find other places to live because it won't be safe for them. Since the US Iraq war, the Iraqi government, sitting on billions of dollars of oil, have not rebuilt the country. Much like South Africa, they've been more worried about putting money in their pockets. The Kurds are upset because from the beginning, even when Saddam Hussein was there, they've been marginalized. The Sunnis are also upset because they lost power and they still got a grudge to grind with Iran and with the Shia in Iraq. Now the Iranian government has put $8 million reward or bounty on President Trump's head, basically declaring war on the United States. The Iraqi government is now complicit with Iran and therefore declaring war on the United States as well. One has to look at the big picture, not the small picture. It proves that everything we have done since 2003, the Shia, Iraqi Shia in Iraq, have been complicit with Iran. All they have to do is open their bank accounts, and you will find money being transferred into their bank accounts from Iran. It's very simple. Numerous high-level policemen in the Iraqi police are actually intelligence officers from Iran. That's a fact. Many times at the police college in Iraq, when asked to take their names, take their fingerprints and IDs, they were refused. That's a fact. Why? It's come to my attention that close to $19 million, possibly more, has been taken away from South African government in aid for their support of Iran, which is not surprising when they are complicit with Iran, Hamas, and Al Qaeda and ISIS, where they have close to 46 camps in South Africa, offices, and are being funded by MTN, which is Ramaphosa's company. This is facts. This is in violation of US sanction laws. As I said before, they're supplying Iran with diesel. Now, their refineries were designed by Iran in Natal, in Durban, close to Durban Harbor. And it's stated that they can only run on Iranian oil, which is absolute nonsense. As I said before, when sanctions were placed on Iran, South Africa shipped 13 tons of oil. And believe me, I don't have to tell you anything. All you have to do is go look on the internet. You'll find it there too. Another thing people don't realize, in 1990, South Africa declared that they are not an atomic country anymore. To the surprise of the world, they showed the world 6 atomic weapons, rockets. They were designed by the nationalist government, hidden away from the people, and they signed the Non-Proliferation Act and asked the United States to come and dismantle them or witness the dismantling of those rockets. However, that weapons grade uranium is supposed to be still there, underground in storage units. Given the history of the ANC government and the support of Iran, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't sell it to the Iranians during the sanctions or before that. In Saldanha Bay, a lot of the oil that was being stored in Saldanha Bay in the huge oil storage units came from Iran and are being sold on the black market. The excuse is the oil is coming from Venezuela. How convenient. The excuse by the Democratic Party that this attack was to hide from an impeachment is absolute nonsense. Given the fact that intel comes from many sources, the Joint Chiefs of Staff sit around and give the president advice on what to do and where to go. Nancy Pelosi sitting with the articles of impeachment which she refuses to hand over to the Senate. Why? They have no evidence. They have absolutely nothing. Now they want to bring more witnesses, trying to find something, and that's why they're holding on. They're hoping to find something else they can try throw in there. Listen, you got your articles of impeachment, send it to the Senate. It'll get thrown out because there's no evidence. Every single witness they brought forward in the House was hearsay, and there was absolutely no evidence. Look, if Trump was guilty, I would help you kick him out, but he's not. The United States people experienced 9/11. I saw firsthand what the Iraqis do to their own people. I saw firsthand what the Afghanistan do to their own people. Car bombs are indiscriminate. They kill everything: boys, girls, women, children, men, and not the intended targets. Thousands of Katyusha rockets get fired into many of the camps in Iraq. I experienced them 6 times a day. Now I'm going to give some advice to the people on the ground in Iraq. Pick up the shrapnel with gloves on. Put them in black bags. Do not touch the shrapnel with your bare hands. Do not rub them. Carefully pick them up with rubber gloves on and put them in the bags. There's enough fingerprint evidence on them to tell you who committed these crimes. Anybody that get killed, the evidence there to prove who did it. And on the BAT system and all the other intelligence gathering systems with IDs, passports, you can find these people and hold them accountable for the indiscriminate deaths of United States citizens. There is ways to find these people. Basically, what I'm saying is, United States is not the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. United States is the people of the United States. Almost 1 million soldiers went through Iraq and Afghanistan in the last 12 years. Not one of them can say that they did not experience what the Iranians did. They supplied the weapons to the Shia militia. They supplied the weapons that killed many of our soldiers and civilians that were working in Iraq. And believe me, more civilians died in Iraq or got injured than you realize. People from all walks of life, they volunteered to go in and help the soldiers. Not only Americans, Indians, Filipinos, Sri Lankans, Benghazi, not Benghazi, Sri Lankans. Even Pakistanis went in to help. Bosnians, Serbians, South Africans, hundreds of mercenaries from South Africa. Actually, thousands. British, French, no, not the French, hardly nothing. South Americans even came. Many, many mercenaries from all over the world to fight that war. You've got to realize this general was responsible for thousands of deaths, not only in Iraq, but all over the Middle East. The Iranian government has been supplying all these groups. And now, in Europe right now, thousands of streaming young Muslim men are going into Europe by the thousands because of the erroneous decisions by Germany, Merkel in particular, with no women and children. And if you follow the money lead, it goes directly to Iran. They're building up cells all over Europe. Just follow the money. Since Merkel's decision, there's been numerous Muslim attacks on Christians and innocent people. What is the solution? There is one solution. Cut the money. And the only way to cut the money is to remove Iran from the equation. That is the common denominator. President Trump is irrelevant in this whole big picture. Literally irrelevant. People must stop concentrating on Trump. He is not the problem. The problem is denial. Denial of the facts that lay before us, that Iran is funding 99% of all terrorism in the whole world. Who is funding Boko Haram in Africa? Who is helping the South African government? Iran. Who is allowing ISIS, Hamas, Al Qaeda, and Iran? South African government. Who has threatened the United States in Venezuela? The ambassador from South Africa threatened to attack the United States. We as United States citizens must support our government, our military, and remember, our military do not affiliate to political parties. They affiliate to the commander-in-chief. A commander-in-chief that is trying to save their lives. This is not a political agenda. The Democrats need to explain the billions of dollars they gave Iran, billions of dollars in cash, flung to them. And those same billions of dollars are being placed with a bounty on our President of the United States. Now, if the Iraqi government goes down this road, I can guarantee you in 6 months, ISIS will be all over Baghdad because the Iraqi government cannot fight. I will give the Iranian government exactly 1 week if the United States goes to war with them. 1 week, it'll be over. And that's what they're pushing for. They're also pushing, hoping that the Russian government may help them. I doubt it. Putin isn't that stupid. Putin also realizes, too, his oil will be supplying the rest of the world that doesn't buy from the United States, who is now the biggest producer of oil in the world. because of President Trump. Iran is desperate. This is their last ditch effort to get out of the mess they're in. Because the people of Iran, not all of them are bad. It's that 5% that's running the country, not even 5%, 1%. These people are going to rise up and take over. And the Iraqi government needs to realize they're on the precipice too. The people of Iraq are sick of it. They're sick of these people. South Africa, the government of South Africa is on the verge of sanctions, massive sanctions, destroy them completely, which everybody will suffer. Everybody, every single family in that country will suffer far worse than during the apartheid regime or era. Because right now, every single department in South Africa, every single municipality, even the government's corrupt, inept, and broke. That they're stealing from the pension funds now because they got no more money. They've spent it all. Remember, the future of the United States is in the United States people's hands. Do you want Democrats that give our enemies money? Do you want Democrats that allow illegals to come into our country unheeded? Have sanctuary cities where criminals can go free, murdering, raping, and killing people? Do you want Democrats that have massive gun laws, like places like Chicago, where more people die on a weekend than about half the states in the United States? This is the Hawk. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and share it. Let the world know what's really going on in Iraq. I was there for 8 years. We got hit 6 times a day. We picked up the pieces afterwards. I'm out of here. You all be safe out there.